is actually respected, and you don't want to grow your favorite growth business, the federal government, like Democrats want to do, and many blue states adopt similar policies. Take solace in that. Yeah. We're going to pay some price for this across the board, but the biggest thing it ought to do is give us the opportunity. If we can't win with this material to work with, when you throw the southern border, Afghanistan into it, Republicans need to do some soul searching on how to better articulate our own message. I think we got all kinds of opportunity to get back both chambers in 2022, win the presidency in 2024. Then what do we do with it? Do we really try to reform this place, or do we morph back into being part of the problem?
Well, the midterms will be fascinating to watch indeed. Senator Mike Braun joining us live on the program. Senator, thank you very much.
You're very
Coming up, President Biden canceling his Chicago trip to oversee budget talks for his Build Back Better agenda. But he has a battle on his hands. We've been talking about that's next in the National Report. Plus this, you're looking live at General McKinsey now, giving opening remarks. Top Pentagon officials testifying. This is the second day. More tough questions about that withdrawal from Afghanistan. We'll monitor it, bring you the latest. You're watching National Report. We'll be right back.
The new socialists in Washington want your wealth, and they're raising taxes to do it. But now you can stop them by creating a guaranteed stream of tax-free income that they can't touch. In the new book, Tax-Free Income for Life, best-selling author David McKnight shows you how you can lock in guaranteed tax-free income that will last as long as you do. Whether you have more than $1 million saved or less than $100,000 set aside for your golden years, you can enjoy tax-free income for life. Get your free copy today. Supplies are limited, so act now.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor and CEO of MyPillow. My employees and I would like to personally thank each and every one of you for all your support. I would like to tell you about my new platform, frankspeech.com. It's an amazing new broadcast network and social media site with great shows, including my own live show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Also, you can go to frankspeech.com now to get the best prices on MyPillow and My Store products. For example, you can get my 6-pack towel set, normally $109.99, now only $39.99 with your promo code. And if you buy one of my Giza Dream Sheets, you get another one absolutely free with your promo code. So go to frankspeech.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive these exclusive MyPillow offers. Thank you and God bless.
Selling a home is expensive and stressful, so we set out to create a better home selling experience with a network of the most successful real estate agents in America that'll sell your home for as little as a 2% commission.
The icing on the cake with the Ideal Agent was that we saved $12,000 in commission.
We would definitely use Ideal Agent again. The whole process was so positive for us.
Excellent service.
Getting right to the point, hiring Ideal Agent, I wish we would have done that sooner, and we would have saved 6 months of time and mortgage payments that would have probably never happened if we would have just gone with them first.
They were so stress-free. The whole process was amazing, and I would definitely recommend them.
We certainly recommend Ideal Agent now to all of our family, all of our friends. It's just a great experience.
We are not a discount brokerage. These are top local agents that'll get you the best results.
The Solo Stove Bonfire is the hottest new reason to get outside. With its signature 360 airflow design, firewood gets just the right amount of oxygen. And since it's easy to light, it gets going fast. It's America's favorite smokeless fire pit for a reason. Bonfire is made for when those good moments become lasting memories. Save $10 using promo code TV10 at solostove.com.
All right, breaking news now. We continue to monitor this House Armed Services Committee. This is day 2 of the questioning of the 3 top brass here. This now from the House Armed Services Committee. Let's listen in.
Of waving a magic wand and making all the problems go away and simply making a decision where nothing goes wrong. And it's really frustrating to hear people advocate that we should stay and still decry what happened. Do you think fighting in a war zone, there wouldn't be similar mistakes if we had stayed there for another 5 or 10 years more civilians killed accidentally, more U.S. service members dead in exactly the same way that we just saw. Sorry, that's very frustrating. But could you talk to us a little bit about the 2,500 service members who could have been left there, and how you approach that decision, and what exactly, well, not what exactly your advice was to the president for what I said earlier, but how you approach that decision and how you attempt to deal with that while advising the president.
Well, first of all, Chairman, let me be clear that I support the president's decision to end the war in Afghanistan. I did not support staying in Afghanistan forever. And let me also say, we've talked about the process that we use to provide input to the president. I think that process was a very thorough and inclusive policy process, and the recommendations of the commanders were taken into consideration, discussed, and deliberated on throughout that process. As you indicated, I will always keep my recommendations to the president confidential, but I would say that in my view, there was no risk-free status quo option. I think that the Taliban had been clear that if we stayed there longer, they were going to recommence attacks on our forces. I think while it's conceivable that you could stay there, my view is that you would have had to deploy more forces in order to protect ourselves and accomplish any missions that we would have been assigned. It's also my view, Mr. Chairman, that the best way to end this war was through a negotiated settlement, and sadly, that did not happen.
Thank you. And let me just also say that I know there are members of this committee who think we should have stayed, who are honest about that advocation. I think of Congressman Waltz, who has been very honest about the fact, both under President Trump and under President Biden, that we should have stayed. He's very honest about the fact that there were costs and risks and lives would have been lost. That's the type of discussion that we need to have. But to jump down the president's throat because he actually had to make the decision in an impossible situation, I think does a grave disservice to this committee's ability to do effective and honest, nonpartisan oversight. Costs were going to be borne here. There was no easy option. And I do hope that people will remember that as we go through the questions and answers that will proceed. With that, I yield to the ranking member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Milley, was the DOD in charge of making decisions about troop strength in this withdrawal, or were you in a support role?
Let me put it this way. You talking about the NEO, or what
I'm
part of the
talking
mission
about, well, let me just go back even further.
Okay.
In January of this year, were you of the opinion, in your professional military judgment, that we should have maintained 2,500 troops, U.S. troops, in support of the coalition effort and contractors in Afghanistan?
Yeah, my assessment that I read in the opening statement remained consistent. Did that professional military opinion change over the course of the next few months? Not until a presidential decision, and I rendered my opinions, and it was a fulsome debate on all of that. And once decisions are made, then I'm expected to execute lawful orders.
And you've made that very clear. So my question is, when the troop levels were ordered to be drawn down to 0 and first stopping at 650, as General McKenzie outlined, was that your decision or General McKenzie's decision to draw down to 650?
It was a task and then a troop-to-task analysis, with the task being to go to 0, but you also have to defend the embassy. So
I'm thinking about the chain of command. Mm-hmm. Somebody's making decisions about troop levels, and my understanding is it was not the DOD. It was the State Department or the White House. I want to know who said we're going to go from 2,500 to 650 and just protect Kabul and the State Department.
It was a military analysis that 600 to 700 could adequately defend the embassy until contractors come up, and that was then approved up through the chain and approved at the highest levels.
Who made the decision?
I would say that decision was made in a national security consultative process by the highest levels of our government.
General McKenzie, did you receive advice from General Miller in the end of 20 and early 21 related to troop levels in Afghanistan?
Ranking Member, I did.
What was that advice?
The advice, his view and my view were essentially the same view. And my view was that we needed to maintain about 2,500 and that we also needed to work with our coalition partners who had about 6,000 troops in there, NATO and other core countries that would remain there.
Did your professional military opinion change over the course of the spring?
It did not.
Did you communicate? Well, I know you communicated to the president. You said you did. Were you present in the room when General Miller's recommendations were relayed to the president?
Without going, General Miller was present in executive sessions that involved myself, the secretary here, the chairman, and the president.
And those recommendations of the parties, as Secretary Austin said, were debated fully in that meeting.
They were debated fully. I felt that my opinion was heard with great thoughtfulness by the president.
Well, you know, Secretary Austin just made the point that there was a fulsome debate of the pros and cons and the costs and risks. Yet, in August of this year, President Biden told George Stephanopoulos in an interview, no one said that to me, referring to keeping some 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. Was that an inaccurate statement by the president?
Sir, I am not going to comment on a statement by the president.
Okay. General McKenzie, in mid-June, your commanders on the ground were informing you that things were deteriorating, as you testified a little while ago. At that time, in your judgment, you should stop withdrawal and increase forces and or proceed with the retrograde. What did you decide at that time?
We decided to proceed with the retrograde.
Okay. Was were you ordered to do that by the president?
We followed our original we had original orders. We followed those orders through to completion.
Okay. Was it the president's orders?
My orders come from the Secretary of Defense through to the President, so it's a very short chain of command for me.
Okay. Secretary Austin, on the 23rd, you told this committee that you had developed a very detailed plan to conduct safe, orderly, and responsible withdrawal, and were executing that plan. On August 18th, the President said, quote, the idea that somehow there was going to be a way that we could have gotten out with chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens, close quote. How do you reconcile those discrepancies between what you assured the Congress and what the President's telling us?
Thank you, sir. First of all, in terms of the withdrawal of our troops and the retrograde of equipment, that plan, as developed by General Miller and General McKenzie, was executed as planned, and all of our equipment was retrograded. And we drew down the force that we wanted to draw down to that very small force that you saw at the embassy at the very end there. The chaos that ensued followed the collapse of the military and the collapse of the government. And when those two things happen, then it was going to be a chaotic situation.
And the collapse of the government and the collapse of the military was solely the responsibility of this administration. I know y'all are trying to be careful politically, but it was the State Department and the White House that told you how to make those drawdown of troops from 2,500 to 650 to 0. It was the speed with which they done it that they carried out that order. That's what caused the chaos that we have. If they'd allowed the DOD to be in a command situation, we wouldn't have had this problem. General McKenzie's testified that the only reason he couldn't keep Bagram was because he had to draw down to 650 troops, and his primary orders were to keep Hamid Karzai and the State Department safe. We just have to admit this was the State Department and the White House that caused this catastrophe, not the Defense Department. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Landry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, and I want to thank our witnesses for your testimony today and for your service to our nation. My constituents and I have obviously a lot.
Moments ago, you were just listening to Congressman Mike Rogers questioning top Pentagon officials. Again, major questions about the decision to withdraw 2,500 troops despite recommendations from the Department of Defense to do so. Many questions for the State Department and the White House as well at the end.
Yeah, trying to get to the chain of command and ultimately who made the decision, trying to pin that down, which seems to ping pong back and forth with representatives and with the Secretary Austin and with the General McKenzie and General Miller. willy-nilly as well. Again, this is day 2. We continue to watch this, and anything that unfolds out of this, we're going to bring it to you live. More on the other side of this break.
You're on the go and need news now. No paywalls, no cable subscriptions. Just download the Newsmax app from your smartphone store. It's free. And watch Newsmax TV anytime, anywhere.
My name is Sean Hayes. I'm from Yorkville, Illinois. When you've lost everything when it comes to health, you have no energy. Having good health is everything. After about 2 weeks of taking the Balance of Nature, my son made a comment that somebody could do a kickflip on a video. I'm like, I can do a kickflip. And he's like, no, you can't, because he has never seen me be that kind of active guy. So here I am after a long work week, after doing all kinds of weekend warrior projects. I go out there, I pick up the skateboard, and I nail a kickflip for him. And even afterwards, the next couple of days, I realized I'm still not sore. I'm recovered already. So having good health, good nutrition, being able to spend quality time with your friends and your family and do all the extras that you only dreamed that you would ever be able to do again, yeah, it means everything. And Balance of Nature does that.
Start now by going to balanceofnature.com and don't forget to use discount code Newsmax.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
I do not like my sheets. I love my Giza Dream sheets.
Call or go to MyPillow.com right now to take advantage of Mike's limited time offer. Use the promo code on the screen, and when you buy one set of Giza Dream Sheets, Mike will send you another set absolutely free. That's right, buy one set of Giza Dream Sheets and get another set absolutely free. Choose from a variety of colors in solid, stripes, and new flannel sheets. Order now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Should Viagra or Cialis really cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. Get generic Viagra or Cialis starting at under $1 per tablet. Call 800-862-3343 to get the lowest prices available. We buy generic meds direct, so there's no pharmacy markups or doctor office costs. Just fill out a brief survey, and if appropriate, you'll get the lowest prices available. Your consultation is free, there's no doctor office visits, and your shipping is always free. This offer is only available by calling 800-862-3343. That's 800-862-3343.
Germs invade through your nose, the body's air filter. But how do you clean it? Navage uses powered suction to help flush out congestion, allergens, mucus, and viruses. Millions use drug-free Navage to breathe better and feel healthier. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Welcome back. Top General is being grilled again today on Capitol Hill. This time, the House Armed Services Committee members doing the questioning. For White House reaction to these hearings, let's welcome in Newsmax White House correspondent Emerald Robinson live at the White House. Emerald, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Emma. Yeah, the White House having to react to these hearings, however, continuing to defend the president's decision to withdraw in the way that he did. However, it does appear that the White House wasn't quite ready for the admission by generals yesterday that they had advised President Biden to keep a contingency of 2,500 soldiers on the ground. So you saw Jen Psaki yesterday during the briefing recharacterizing how the president received advice and made his decision and portraying it in a different way than we had heard previously from the White House. What you can tell by today's hearing so far, Emma, is that these generals, given what we saw in the reaction to their testimony yesterday, are all being very careful in the way that they talk about the president, how they give him advice, how he came to his decision-making process. They're not being as specific. In fact, you also heard one of the generals say that they wouldn't speak to the president's words and talking about that interview with George Stephanopoulos previously, where the president said that no one gave him this advice that now the generals are saying that they gave him. We also saw Ranking Member Rogers really try to pin down who made the decision specifically, and this is something we've seen in the hearings when Secretaries of State Anthony Blinken was on the Hill, and then also yesterday. Why the decision to give up Bagram? Why not keep Bagram? Clearly, that was brought out by the ranking member today, saying, "Look, we now see that you couldn't keep Bagram because there was pressure to draw down to 650 troops, which meant you weren't capable of keeping Bagram." And that has been sort of the crux of this withdrawal process and what many lawmakers on the Hill feel went wrong. So I think that we'll see Jen Psaki later today at 2 p.m. today when she gives the White House a reaction, because she will be the one reacting, not really the president, is she'll have to answer to the blame that seems to be assigned today in today's hearings to the White House and the State Department and the political pressure they might have put on the Department of Defense.